Alright, so it's less than a month until I go to Disney now, so I'm getting very excited, but it also means that actually there's not too long left for me to do more vlogs. So I'm trying to think of anything else I need to vlog about, and one thing that I've thought about, a lot of people have been talking about the last few days, is getting their Disney packs and preparing to go to Florida and the first couple of days that you're there. Obviously, it's a bit of a mystery if you've not done it before, so it can be a little bit scary. Um, so this is my folder. You see that? And I've decorated it, lots of stickers. You can tell I have had a lot of time on my hands. And inside I've got all my stuff, but this was my Disney pack. Disney International Programs. Here you go. Now this is the one I got because I started in 2011. Some people have got the 2012 ones now, and they look a little bit different on the outside, but they're pretty much the same thing. So inside your Disney pack, it's not very exciting. I'll put it there. It is exciting to get it. It's exciting to have your official offer letter and all that kind of thing, but it's not got loads of bells and whistles, so don't have too high hopes, even though it sounds like a pack. It's actually more of just a letter, really. You get your official Disney offer letter, like this one, with Walt Disney written at the top. You get some sort of thing about the Disney look, which I got a piece of paper which is pretty rubbish, a yellow paper like that. Some people got little books, and my first program I got a little book with it in, so I've heard the people who've just got the 2012 ones, they've got little books, but I got a piece of paper. Disney look is quite strict, they are quite on it, so do read through it and do abide, because if you don't, then you will literally be sent home from traditions and training back to your apartment to fix whatever's wrong. So that's that. You also get some policies and procedures and things like that. So you've got one there about Walt Disney World the Walt Disney World Company and affiliated companies, cast member policies, procedures and terms. Very exciting, that one. And you also get one, very long one, about housing. And the housing regulations mainly revolve around not drinking when you're underage, not staying in another person's apartment past 1 AM, and not damaging anything. That's pretty much it. So you get all those pieces of paper, and then in my Disney pack I did get this as well, which I've shown you before. This was my Disney letter, visa letter, which came with my form that will end up, oh, there we go, it will end up in my passport, that little white form, and then the pink form is just information. And it did come with my my visa letter that I had to take to the embassy as well, but obviously I don't have that anymore. So that's what you get in your Disney pack. So it's exciting, but it's nothing particularly amazing. It is just letters. These days they do a lot more over the phone, and they do a lot more via email, because it is better, obviously, for the environment to use less paper. And also it means you've got it on you. You can't lose that piece of paper. It's always going to be in your email inbox. So that's actually quite a good idea. Yeah, so that's your Disney pack. The first couple of days on your program are quite scary. If you've ever been to university, it is like starting uni. It's really like that. You're thrown into a situation where you meet loads and loads of people. It's really crazy, and you make loads of friends and meet loads of people, and then after a few weeks it all levels out, and you realise who your friends are and who the people you hang out with are and all that kind of thing. So just to run through it basically, when you arrive in Orlando, you will need to get to housing yourself. They used to provide buses and things, but they don't anymore. Not since I've done my first program have I had transportation. Since my first program I've used Mia's, which is a taxi company. They have a desk in Orlando Airport, and you get a little voucher when you get all your information through from Yummy Jobs, which will give you a discount as well. And basically just go over to them and say, I need to get to Vista Way, and they'll say, okay then, we'll pop you on the next bus, which is going to go around to Vista Way. So you may have to wait like 10 minutes, or you may have to wait 45 minutes, but they'll provide a bus for you. And you get on the bus, and it may do some other stops, other places, but then it will drop you off at Vista Way. You go into Vista, you meet the International Programs team, and they will give you a pack, which has got more pieces of paper inside it. Mostly things to do with your first few days and where to go, and a map and a bus timetable, that kind of thing. And on the back will be a sticker that says where you're living. For the CRP, you're most likely going to be living in the Commons, but some people do get put into Patterson Court as well, which is the newest housing complex. If you're on the ITP, then you'll be in Vista Way, Chatham Square or Patterson, but you won't be at the Commons. So you have a little presentation there. Both times I've previously been, they give you a little goodie bag which has got like a bottle of water and a piece of fruit and some a cereal bar and things like that, which is quite nice if you're hungry or thirsty, because you will have been travelling all day most likely. Then you get taken to your apartment, and if it's on another complex, you get on a bus and go over to that place. And that is the Big Brother moment. The Big Brother moment is what I call when you go into the apartment and you meet your flatmates for the first time, and it is quite a scary concept. It's quite scary. When I went in 2008, I walked in and like everyone was in my apartment, and I met them all straight away, and it was quite overwhelming. Last year when I went, no one was in my apartment when I arrived, so I sort of went in, I was like, hello, no one there. And the room I was in was empty. There was no one in my room as well. And then the girl who was with me in that room was also from England, so she turned up a couple of hours later because she was on a different flight. But it was nice to be able to go in there on my own and just settle in for a little bit before meeting people, but it's always luck of the draw. Everyone's usually very friendly. You've got to remember that in housing, people are used to coming and going, and people leaving and people arriving, so people are always really welcoming. You obviously, I'm talking as if you're arriving the day that you start your program. If you don't arrive the same day as you start your program, like this time I'm going out 3 days early, you have to find somewhere to stay. You can't stay at Vista, you can't stay in Disney housing, not even if you wanted to pay, they won't let you stay there. So you have to find a hotel, and there are thousands of hotels in Orlando, and there's obviously Disney hotels as well, so you can choose to stay wherever, and then you have to get to Vista Way on your start date, and they will give you that information. For me, they've said I need to be there midday on November the 1st, so that's what I'll be doing. So first day is all about meeting your roommates and finding your apartment and settling in. Some people go to Walmart that day. Both my ICPs, I did arrive quite late and I didn't have time to go to Walmart, so like I said in my other vlog, make sure you've got some basics for that night if you haven't got time to go to Walmart. And then the next day, in fact the next 2 or 3 days, are usually housing talks. So you have a talk about regulations, you have a talk about your visa regulations as well, because if you flout your visa regulations you get chucked out the country. You get a massive talk about drinking underage, because they're very, very hot on that. You get sometimes some talks from, like you usually get a talk from the international kind of liaison people at Disney as well, because housing and Disney are slightly separate. The housing complexes are run by Price Management, who are not part of Disney, but they're running it on behalf of Disney, so Disney people come to talk to you as well. And then you also get a little timetable as well that says what you're going to be doing over the next few days, and when you'll be starting work as well. So after you've had your housing talks, then you're going to have traditions. And you go to traditions and they give you pieces of paper that say when your training is. Sometimes, like when I started last year, I literally worked or I had my housing talks and then I went straight to traditions and I didn't have a day off for about a week. But some people had like 3 days off before they'd even started their tradition, so it varies quite a lot. And then once you go to traditions, it's all plain sailing from there really, because they give you all the information you need and you just need to turn up when and where they tell you to. So it's really easy. But one thing I will say is about homesickness. There's nothing worse than going on an international program, meeting people after 2 days of being there who are going, I don't want to be here, I want to go home. It is a lot to take in when you start an international program, whether it's the CRP for the year or the ICP for the 3 months. It's overwhelming. You're meeting a lot of people, it's hot, it's a different climate, it's different just ways of living because it's America and you're jet lagged and your family are 4,000 miles away, and it can be quite overwhelming. So my absolute one piece of advice is, if in the first 2 weeks you feel like you want to go home, just stick it out for another month. Stick it out for a month, and after a month you still really are not enjoying it and you want to go home, by all means go home. But think about how much time and effort you have put into being there, all the weeks of waiting for interviews and the stress of going through the interviews and trying your absolute best to be, you know, a Disney person who's ready and willing to go to the parks and work. People would kill for your opportunity that you've got, and when you get out there, If it's not all you thought it was going to be, just give it a month, because the first few weeks, they're absolutely crazy. You've got housing talks, you've got traditions, you've got new job to learn, new skills to learn, you're meeting new friends and all that kind of thing. And it is hard work, but after about a month or so, everything calms down a little bit. You fall into more of a pattern, you realise who your friends are, and all that kind of thing. Making friends, I mean, some people find it easier than others. Some people find it really hard to make friends, and there is no shame in that. But say you go to your apartment and you really don't get on with your flatmates and you're not really gelling with them, you've got the option to move apartment. That's the first thing. And secondly, there's always going to be people at work who might be from your country, or or who you'll work with more and more and then get to know them. So if you don't make friends with your roommates, you'll make friends with people at work. And if you don't make friends with people at work, you might make friends with the people that you came over with on your flight, or people that have come over since, who are from your country or from your hometown. So you will always find somebody who is going to be friendly, and you have to go in with a positive attitude. So it is hard being far away from your family, but you've got things like Skype and calling cards and things like that to phone home. So my absolute piece of advice is that if you do feel like you're not enjoying it and it's not what you thought it was going to be, then just stick it out for a month, and then like I said, if you still feel that way, you can go home. But take it from me that in your mind, working for Disney in Walt Disney World is an amazingly glamorous, fun job, and it is amazingly fun. However, it is also really hard work. You work very long hours. You do not earn that much money. It is very hot, and you have to deal with angry and upset people every single day. But for every angry guest that you meet, you're going to meet 10 brilliant, happy, fun guests who have an absolute laugh with you. So, like I said, it is very hard work. It's work hard, play hard when you work for Disney in the parks. So, if you have any questions or anything you want to ask me, feel free to leave me a comment or an email or my blog, whatever. And if you're out on a program and you are thinking, oh my god, I can't cope with this and I'm not enjoying it, and you want to just ask for any advice, feel free, because I've been there and I've met people who are like that, and I just know it's nice to be able to talk to somebody about that. So yeah, stick it out if you're not enjoying yourself. But I know that most people have an amazing time on their program, and as soon as they get home, they want to go back.